Heyo, welcome back to the Q-Universe. I'm your host Q. Now originally I wasn't going to make this video at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I genuinely wanted to. I'm not sure if I'll tackle some of the other 2D Mario games going forward, but only time will tell. I don't think this game needs much of an introduction. It's Super Mario Bros. 3. Easily one of the most iconic games of all time, but I digress. Last thing, I know this game is also remade for the SNES and the GBA, but for consistency, I'm only going to be talking about the NES one. This won't be a long one though, just a heads up. But without further ado, let's-a go! Shortly after the release of Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Famicom disc, development for this title quickly began. This title was developed by Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development, a team that consisted of more than 10 people. With Shigeru Miyamoto serving as the director, he would work closely with the programmers and designers to get this massive project done. This title would have Koji Kondo return as the composer. Honestly, this makes sense since he worked on the predecessors before this one. The game was set for a release of spring 1988. However, the devs wanted to add even more new features, so the game ended up being pushed back for 6 months. But after 2 long years, the game would finally hit store shelves in Japan on October 23rd, 1988. The game was also marketed in the 1989 movie The Wizard, only a couple months before its initial release in the US of February 12, 1990. It's interesting to think that this was the first time Mario was ever advertised in a movie. The devs were clearly passionate about this title, and I'd say the wait was definitely worth the payoff. So jumping right in, you'll notice this game resembles a play of sorts, with the curtains being such a huge piece of the screen. Miyamoto actually confirmed this himself, saying it's supposed to actually be a play. It's a little odd trying to make sense of it, but it's unique enough. This game has 8 worlds, so let's quickly go over each of them. World 1, Grassland. Very simple and yet very iconic. These levels really help the players get used to the movement rather quickly. You got normal levels, castles, a Hammer Bro boss, and a fortress with one of the Koopalings as a main boss. More of them later. There's nothing really too out the ordinary with this world, but I absolutely love it. World 2, Desertland. Absolutely love this one. I may not mention it often, but I'm a sucker for desert-themed levels, and this world delivers. Hell, there's even a sun that tries to kill you. This world is slightly tougher than 1, but it's more or less the same, but desert-themed. World 3, Waterland. This one's a bit mixed for me, because some levels are great, but others just kind of fall a bit flat for me here. Aesthetically, I like it, and I do unironically like the giant Cheep Cheep levels, but nothing stands out here too much for me personally. World 4, Giantland. Just gonna say it right now, this is by far my personal favorite world in the entire game. The aesthetics of how the map looks are amazing, but the real reason? Almost every enemy are humongous in every level. It's such a simple change, but I absolutely adore it. I find enjoyment replaying through it every time I reach here. Not much else to say here, it's awesome! World 5, Skyland. This world splits off into 2 areas. The first few levels are on the ground and the rest of them are in the sky once you beat this castle. This world is unique being in the sky and all, but personally it's a slight step down from Giantland. Admittedly, it's sort of tough to follow up after that world, but this one did a good enough job. World 6, Iceland. Truthfully, I love the aesthetics of this world, but levels wise, it's fine. The difficulty spikes up quite a bit in this world between tougher enemies and icy terrain to deal with. I don't have too much to say in this one. It's a pretty big map with just some okay levels, but it's not horrible. World 7, Pipeland. Yeah, I straight up don't like this world. The map is pretty slick with a theme that feels very fitting. But the levels themselves don't scream anything unique about them. What, more piranha plants and pipes? Wow, that's kind of a letdown. The levels themselves are a bit forgettable too, which doesn't help in its case either. I mean, I get it, 8 worlds, all of them can't be bangers, but I guess I was expecting a little bit more from the penultimate world. Just saying. World 8, Darkland. This is by far the toughest world in the game, and rightfully so. The first actual level is a side-scrolling tank, then a boat side-scrolling right after. That says enough alone. So I really do like this world, but I can also admit it drags on, and I mean really drags on. There are some unique levels in here though. I really love the dark brown levels once you actually get to them. I'd say the final world does deliver mostly, but it could have toned down on the side-scrolling just a bit. Like, was it really necessary to have a tank outside of Bowser's castle after going through a tank, a boat, and an airship earlier on? That airship is fast as fuck, by the way, so you better be ready for it. So overall, I think these worlds are mostly great. The levels within these worlds seriously match the tone that they're going for beautifully. Next, let's talk about power-ups. The Super Leaf, which transforms Mario into Raccoon Mario, allows Mario the ability to fly when his run meter is filled up to the max. Very, very simple, but it's also just so cathartic to be able to fly through a lot of these levels. The levels were designed large enough to incorporate this power-up beautifully. The tail itself can almost one-shot most enemies too, which is a nice touch as well. Not much else to say on this, it's pretty cool. The Tanuki suit changes Mario's fit into that of a Tanuki. So his power is exactly the same as the Leaf, but also allows Mario to transform into a statue by pressing down and B. This makes Mario intangible for a brief period of time. Honestly helps with getting out of tough situations, but it's not as used as much as you think. The frog suit transforms Mario into a frog and allows him to swim underwater seamlessly. The downside though is that the movement for this on land is kinda garbage, making it a very situational item at best. I do like it, but I wish the movement wasn't so hindered on land. It's really good for World 3 with all those pesky water levels, but I don't see much use of it outside of that unless you're doing a frog only challenge or something. The last new power-up is the hammer suit. This not only changes Mario's fit, but allows him to throw hammers. Now this power-up can kill nearly anything. Enemies like Boos and Thwomps that can't be hurt at all certainly get one-shotted by this power-up, making it insanely broken. Because of this power-up is very limited and sort of hard to find, but it's definitely worth grabbing if you are able to find it. In this title, there are also map power-ups that I'll quickly touch on. The hammer allows Mario to break these rocks that are on certain paths. All you need to do is stand next to the rock, use the hammer, then boom! New path is open with usually some hidden secrets. The music box puts all the Hammer Bros and Piranha Plant enemies in the overworld to sleep for 1, 2, 3 turns. While these enemies are asleep, you can scroll right past them without triggering a fight. Yeah, truth be told, I usually don't use this power-up. It's nice if you want to just skip those fights, but you usually get better power-ups by beating those fights. So I usually just fight them, personally speaking. Okay, now, the anchor is a very unique item that I almost forgot until making this video. So, when you take on a fortress and die in the airship will fly to another part of the world, right? So you'd have to travel towards it to try it again. However, the anchor power-up stops the airship from traveling if you die. You can find this item by revealing the hidden white mushroom house in even-numbered worlds. So trying to get this item is already a nightmare. I had to look up a guide, link in the description by the way, and you need to collect a certain amount of coins in certain levels. I tested this out in level 1-4, which is a side-scroller. I normally turn my brain off when thinking about coin count, but to get this, I needed to make sure I got the exact amount of coins, that being 44, just to test this. Sure enough, the white mushroom house appears, but I got a P-Wing since it's World 1. Now imagine doing this in Worlds 2, 4, and 6, in which case you need to collect every coin in levels 4-2 and 6-7. Huh? Just, wow. I'm really impressed with how useless they made this stupid fucking item. It's like finding a Dunsparce in Gold and Silver with its 1% encounter rate, thinking it's gonna actually do some shit. Spoiler, that Pokemon is fucking garbage. Nah, I'm good with this. I'm moving the fuck on. Fuck this item. Lakitu's Cloud allows Mario to skip a level straight up. Not something I personally use often, but it's nice if you find yourself against a level you absolutely loathe playing. Unfortunately, this does not work on tank levels. The P-Wing allows Mario to start a level with a Super Leaf already equipped and with the run meter constantly maxed out, meaning you can fly indefinitely throughout the entire level. Really, really good power for dealing with tank side-scroll levels, or levels you really just don't want to deal with, honestly. Just be sure you don't get hit or else you'll lose the power-up. The infinite meter only lasts for that one level, so use this power-up only if you need it. Last but not least, we have the Warp Whistles. When used, a whirlwind collects Mario and takes him to the Warp Zone. Here you can choose which world you want to go to, depending on which world you're already in. So if you're in World 1, you can warp to Worlds 2 through 4. If you're in Worlds 2 through 4, you can warp to 5 through 7. The only way to get to World 8 via whistle is by using another whistle in the Warp Zone. There are a total of 3 whistles in this game, one found in 1-3, one found in the first castle, and the last one held by Fire Bros in World 2, which is hidden behind a rock, so you need a hammer to get it. Honestly, I love this item, but I tend to beat every level, so I hardly use it, but it is a very unique item. Overall, the power-ups are great here. I really don't have too many complaints on them outside of the stupid ass anchor. Really, I'll never get over that. This title introduced all the Koopalings into the series. Larry, Morton, Wendy, Iggy, Roy, Lemmy, and Ludwig. Design-wise, they are unique, but their fights are mostly similar, but I'll cover them regardless. So in each fortress, the respective king will always be transformed with their wand stolen. So you gotta invade the airships and take down each respective Koopaling to get back the wands. Larry is a very straightforward fight. Jump on his shell 3 times, dodge the projectile he throws at you sometimes with the wand, and watch out for his jumping. That's it. Yeah, not much else to really say on this one. Actually, Morton and Iggy's fights are exactly identical to Larry's, outside the layout being slightly different, so I really don't have too much to say on those two either. Wendy's fight is somewhat of a beginner's trap, so her fight is on a flat surface and she shoots projectiles at you. However, the thing is, her projectiles don't disappear, so you gotta dodge all of her active projectiles while dealing with this fight. It can be a frustrating fight to deal with, but just go at it with some patience and you'll be able to clutch this out. Also, using a fire flower for this fight makes it ridiculously easy since she only has one projectile out until you actually hit her shell, but fire flowers you don't actually count as hitting her shell, she'll just end up dying. So Roy and Ludwig are completely identical outside of the layout. The only real difference in this fight for the both of them is that when their shell hit the ground, it will shake the surface, causing you to be stunned in place for a couple seconds. So when they are in the air whatsoever, it's best you are also in the air yourself. Besides that, these fights are sort of pushovers just like the rest of the others. Finally, that leaves Lemmy. Lemmy actually rolls on a ball for movement, which I won't lie, it's kinda cool as hell. But for real, just like Wendy, he'll throw a projectile, in this case, a ball. However, you can actually jump on it to stop it from moving, unlike Wendy's fire rings that will hurt you no matter what. Outside of that, this fight's actually an easy clap. Pack 'em up. So overall, the Koopalings are nice additions to the series and actually do stick out pretty well overall. However, once you learn the patterns for these fights, they're free eats. You'll probably have more trouble on the airships than actually fighting them, to be completely candid. Now, all that's left is Bowser. Bowser's castle is pretty tough to navigate through and puts all of your skills to the test from everything you've learned up until this point. I actually do like how tough this castle is, but once you push through, you'll eventually pull up to Bowser himself. So this is going to be a bit anticlimactic. My apologies, but Bowser's an absolute fucking joke of a final boss. For this fight, Bowser will shoot fireballs at you, which are pretty easy to dodge. He will then try to jump and crush you. To win this fight, all you gotta do is bait Bowser into falling through the brick flooring 3 times. Once he goes through the 3rd set of flooring, he'll fall to his doom and all you hear is a loud thud.
That's it?
Yeah, I wish there was more to this fight, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't fit well with this game. It's not a bad fight, it's just kinda easy, honestly. After that, Mario reunites with Peach, and the curtains fall, signifying the end of the game. Congratulations! You fully beat Super Mario Bros. 3. So, it's safe to say, this game is spectacular, and it more than holds the test of time. So, with that being said, before I end off, I want to dedicate this video to one person, right? That person being my dad. Unfortunately, my dad lost his life 10 years ago from this day due to cardiac arrest. So the connection with this game is that this was actually his favorite game of all time. I have so many fond memories just playing this game with him. There's a lot of memories I have just actually spending afternoons just playing this game with him, and a lot of who I am as both a person and as a gamer is because of this man alone and because of this game. So I know, as a generic answer as this is my favorite Mario game of all time. It's not even close. And I'm biased, but it's also, I just hold such a deep connection to my dad through this game. So, from all my heart, I really do love this game, and this is part of the reason why it was so tough for me trying to even make this video, because I wanted to dedicate it to specifically my dad above anything else, and this is just It's not easy for me to do something like this. But I know I wasn't doing this for anybody but him. I miss you, Dad. With all that being said, if you made it to the very end of the video, thank you so much for watching. My name is Q, and I will see you all next time.